because they are able to take out Juicy. They're able to have a bit more free roam. Obviously, he's now back up onto the Gorge, but a good push nonetheless up into the Clash lane.
And we might see another sneaky one here. Okay, the couple of blades did not connect, so no damage at all to Chaz. So he'll open up the space, and now they will engage.
Well, just connect onto Rock as well as ride the waves, and the Flaming Palms onto the T1 into the mid lane. So nobody falls, but they are doing a lot of damage on the side of Blacklist to these T1s in the mid lane, which I feel like is probably the last bastion of hope for the side of Gen.G in this early game.
And look at Jushi's position, right? Like, he's always in the off position, just putting that mental pressure down onto Gen.G. Like, if you're around and you're invisible, there will be a signal, and that always keeps Gen.G on alert. And that also means that it's hard for Gen.G to make that frontal engagement because they always have to take care of their back.
Yeah, they've always got to take care of the back, but they've also got to, more importantly, use their couple blades to effect. But this is a 3v1 dive onto Wawa. He may not escape this one alive, and it's going to be Chami getting the knock-up, getting the kills, and getting the T1 into the Clash lane, opening up both of the side lanes on the side of Gen.G. Means that their jungle comes a little bit more of a taxing method for the side of Blacklist.
And nice sandwich there by Blacklist. One front, one side, one back. There was no way you would be able to escape that. And again, Juicy having the farm of his life. He has the entire jungle for him to farm while his other teammates open up the space with putting pressure on the opposite side of the lane.
Yeah, able to do these things on like multiple fronts is definitely the way that Blacklist keep the head of the gold lead, right? I mean, Clue's a little bit too far deep in there. He does use the mulberry power there, but misses both Diadea and the Lady Chen. But they may catch out the Golden Kite now. They force the Infinite Vastness, which may be a bit of a mistake here for Blacklist going into this next team fight.
Or maybe that was deliberate, like just to buy a bit more time for the bottom lane to be shoved in. True. And now the minions are right in front of the tower, so that will force Gen.G to not continue the engagement. So to use that, I think that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, if they're not going to force any team fight anytime soon, then yeah, absolutely fine. It means that Blacklist still comes out on top of that one. But for now, we are seeing a bit of a brewing in the mid lane as well. Oh, Chami gets the kill onto Ray and Rock. Oh, Chami on this Mai pick is just doing bits right now. Again, tingling all over. Oh, but he's not quite done there yet. We're seeing that Chaz goes into the backline, keeps Inua in place. Oh my gosh. 3 kills for Chami 1. He is racking up those Chami digits at the end of his name. And then it's not even stopping there. We see Clue go down as well.
And in between 2 towers, can you believe that? That is how confident they are right now walking into this game. Oh, it's going to be hard for Gen.G. I'm looking at how Gen.G is going to make this comeback here. If they want to make a frontal engagement, it's going to be hard. They need to farm first. They need to try to find a way to win back their jungle.
Yeah, win back their jungle and win back like a defensive team fight as well. I mean, they've got the front line that need to do that, but over to the side of Blacklist, they've thought about it. They've got Gen.G's number with this one because of the amount of single target CC, denying the front engages from the likes of Ray on the Lubang and then also Wawa on the Sunset. We do see the set sail actually lands up. The Mulberry Power does actually miss because of the CC immunity from Mai's abilities, but it was a worth try there by Gen.G, but it looks like the focus is elsewhere for the side of Blacklist.
Yeah, coming from the back, and that's one engagement, following up with more.
Yeah, following up with more, we do see the Destiny Couch come through, as well as the Destructive Deluge, doing a lot more damage onto the side of Gen.G. It's just going to force and open up this Gorge even more for Blacklist. I feel like this may be the point where Gen.G just says, right, FF at 15, we've got to rethink this draft.
Dude, my eyes is just good onto Juicy, right? And his movement, like how he goes from the back and just tries to find those pickoffs. And even though if it doesn't, he puts mental pressure towards Gen.G. And now Gen.G is not only mentally pressured, they're pressured to stay in their base.
They're all pushed back to the base, other than the T2 down into the farm lane, which is basically looking like it's holding on by the skin of its teeth, if turrets did have teeth. But speaking of teeth, we do have the Overlord and the Tyrant up now for grabs for both Blacklist and Gen.G, but it looks like they're going to go for the second Tyrant of the game. It worked very well for Blacklist, especially with picks like the Mayin, like the Lung, as well as the Prince of Landing. Just gives up the extra damage, right? And it's proven very frightful for the side of Gen.G. We see that Chami 1 is in the backline just to keep Clue out of there.
I thought that Blacklist could go for a double objective, but that's okay. You get one, that's fine. They don't need to really rush things in. They can take their time. At the top,
yeah, exactly. I mean, if they get one objective but are able to deny the other by not even getting it, then that's absolutely fine. Because, unfortunately, for the side of Gen.G, they don't have the freedom to move out of their base, right? They have all 3 lanes pushed right now. The T2 goes down into the farm lane. They're all fastly approaching that high ground turret. Ray looks to get CC'd there, but he's actually got a lot of health and damage shield for the side of Gen.G, but getting caught out is Roach once more. We are seeing the Battlefield Command come through, trying to save him. Wawa goes down from the Lady Chen. It is the Dragon, and not Lung getting the kill.
Wawa tried. Wawa truly tried. He tried to just engage, just to see if we can get anything out of it, get the signal, but no, Blacklist International, they're just way ahead in terms of farm. Look at this, 10k goal lead, and Gen.G is not even able to come out of their base. They are in a sticky situation now.
Very, very sticky situation. I mean, we're getting to the 12-minute mark. It's looking very frightful for Gen.G. Inua goes down as well as Wawa. Rock is down again. Chami is pulling out all the blows. He wants this best of 5 done for in time for T. He's looking with the minions here. He gets another kill. Is it going to be a team wipe for Gen.G? Oh, Blacklist with a triple kill. And game 1 going very quick and effectively to Blacklist.
Well, looks like they can start ordering that tea, ladies and gentlemen. Game 1 is taken by Blacklist International. What a convincing performance here. Gen.G, they stood no chance. Even from the start, like they had no control over the map at all. And Blacklist International, this was a massacre of a performance over Gen.G.
Oh, absolute game 1 masterpiece for Blacklist. And even there, look at TG. I mean, I don't know if that's PG, but it's on the actual cast anyway, so I get to see it. You've got to bear that burden with me. But speaking of bearing burdens, Gen.G definitely bear the burden of that game 1 big defeat there, because it was brutal.
Yeah, and if we talk about the draft, right, this is supposed to be somewhat of a complex draft for Gen.G, like the fact that they bought the pay, a hero that has brought them a level of success before this, and now with them using the pay, obviously they can't use it in the next round onwards. It's starting to get a bit worrying for Gen.G.
Oh, very worrying. I'm definitely on the edge of my seat when it comes to what else they can do now, because they're kind of at that limit of what their best outcome is of this this group stage, because they need to now turn it around for a 3-1 if they have a dream of actually going for tiebreakers. So that's the best situation they've got now, because they've lost game 1.
I know, right? Then, okay, based on what you have calculated, right, they must win their next 3 games straight up for them to have a chance to move on to the next round. They drop 1 more game, that's it.
It's done. It's done. It's the end of the road for the MENA region, unfortunately, if they do drop another round. But maybe this is the whole point of Gen.G, right? Let's get back on the Gen.G horse, because we kind of ride in the very highs of Blacklist right now. Maybe they're just exhausted some of the better picks of Blacklist, because you've got Chami's Mayin Gun, you've got the Lung and the Diadeer as well. And now that Prince of Langling's been taken off the board, it gives the A-OK for Gen.G to go and pick up the Orgrin.
Yeah, and if we were to talk about some of the items, well, Gen.G definitely far away from Blacklist. They still managed to get the Blazing Cape, which is fine. A very much needed item to tank, but because Blacklist, they have farmed way ahead. So it's not enough for them to just rely on one item just to tank everything else. And if we were to look at some of the stats here, Dragon came up with the most damage output, 85,000. That's 33%, almost double anyone else on his team.
Yeah, I mean, a bit of a disparity there within the team participation, right? There was 3 members of Gen.G that didn't participate in any team fights, which is a bit frightful for the side of them. But now we can see that the gold graph is saying that same kind of thing, the same sentiment that we just saw in that 12-minute and 6 seconds defeat. There were 1 neutral objective going over to the side of Gen.G, but other than that, their goal lead fluttered way behind them by 12k and only 2 towers.
Yeah, I mean, the stats don't lie, right? This game, it was all in for Blacklist, and it is all in for MVP Chami from Blacklist with a clean 804 KDA. That's actually a lot of kills for this game. Damage taken 23%, damage output 70%, and a total goal of 23%.
Yeah, I mean, easy game for Chami there, especially starting from that double kill early on as well. It kind of just written in the stars for Chami to get the MVP of this game 1. But that's what Gen.G need to stop doing. They aren't used to these level 1 invades, especially against a well-oiled machine like Blacklist.
Yeah, and some of the best moments here from the earlier match. Only one kill was managed by Gen.G, and that was with the couple of plates earlier on. But other than that, yep, it is all Blacklist all the way. You can see how far they have scaled, hence they are able to take very, very easy fights. And when they take fights, it is like all 4 players in or 3 players in. At some point, which is what we can see on screen, there were 2 towers there, but they were still having that level of confidence to engage in between those towers.
Yeah, just having that confidence amongst the teams is definitely something that Gen.G was missing. They didn't have the privilege to play between turrets because 1, they had no turrets to play between, and 2, they couldn't get out any further than their own grounds, which after that first kind of bit of an oxymoron, right? They tried to do a level 1 invade into the enemy jungle, never saw the light of day once again in the enemy jungle after that point.
Yep, and this was towards the end, right? This was pretty much the last hoorah here by Wawa, and there was nothing much he can do. And that was the end of game 1, where Gen.G unfortunately lost that game, and now they're in a situation where they must win their next 3 matches. Not only 1 match, but 3 matches in a row.
Yeah, so what was already quite a feat, I mean, you're talking about climbing Mount Kilimanjaro compared to climbing Mount Everest, not Mount Everest, Mount Olympia, right? You've got to try and now scale that mountain, but now you've got to go to the even harder challenge of getting to the gods at Mount Olympia.
Well, I don't know which mountain is harder to climb, honestly speaking. I haven't climbed any of those, but it sounds pretty difficult right now. So, oh man, what can they put up here, right? So if we look at how Blacklist International have been engaging, they need to play a faster pace. They cannot play with the rhythm of Blacklist International having control of the situation, right? So they need to play it in a little bit more faster pace, perhaps deploying a assassin jungler so that they can try to control situations a bit better.
I feel like it's more so putting Ray back into the jungle as an actual jungle rather than just giving him kind of like Lu Bang and then hoping and taking away his smite, which is what we saw in game 1, and just putting Rock back into the farm lane, because he is a very effective farm laner. And the fact that they had barely any range other than the Ganem Mo was definitely the detriment of their defeat, because if the Ganem Mo got took out, then there is no kind of space to create between these 2 teams, and that's exactly what we saw, because Blacklist was all up in their face.
Yeah, the switch of role didn't really do them favors as well, so it's probably something they need to consider, like, okay, let's switch back to our original roles. Let's just not overly rock the boat, right? Let's just do something that we have tried and tested and we know that we're confident with. So I do agree with you, is that step 1 is probably just to switch back the roles and then pick something that they're truly comfortable with. But with the global ban pick, of course, 5 heroes are out the window.
Yeah, 5 heroes out the window for the side of Blacklist and Gen.G. I mean, it's probably more at the detriment of Blacklist than Gen.G at this point, because there were some picks that we don't necessarily normally see, other than like Wawa Sunset, which he had a fantastic display on against Elevate in game 1, because that's the only game that they did win against Elevate. But now they don't have that. They've got to kind of rely on trying to get the Dharma through the gates, or trying to find the trump card that hopefully Gen.G pulled out in these next 3 games, because if they drop a single one, that's it. It's end of the road.
Yeah, man, this is a situation that nobody wants to be in. It's not about winning your series anymore. It's about winning your next game. And you still have the following game to play, because it's a best of 5 series, obviously. So I wonder what sort of a draft would they put out. And of course, if you're a Blacklist International, look at that, putting out the 3-0. They want to make this a clean win. And just look at the supporters there, bringing out the Blacklist banner. And Blacklist is a major organization in the Philippines. I'm sure they don't want to disappoint their fans.
Oh, absolutely not. No, I mean, Chami throwing up the 3-0 after getting MVP in game 1 with an 8-0. I think I'm convinced at this point. If he tells me 3-0, I'm taking it.
Well, I'm sure they will want to take it as well. They want to walk in to the playoffs with a red carpet and spotlights onto them to say that, hey, we are the hometown heroes, all right? We can take out anyone, and they want to do it in the best fashion possible. So it's one thing, it's about just moving on to the playoffs. Second thing is just to give something for the home fans to cheer about.
Yeah, I feel like because as well it puts them in a tricky situation because obviously if Gen.G lose this one, then obviously it's two Philippine representatives going through. But if Gen.G was to win this one, I don't feel like Rough World Era will take the crown from BTR in their respective group. So they need to do this one so they've got some good representation going through for the Philippines going into the knockout stage, right? We want to see as many Philippines teams for those home crowd fans at the stage there, so they can cheer on as much as possible and hopefully crown the king of the Season 3 Invitational as one of their homegrown champions, right? That's the end goal for these people watching.
Yeah, and they not only get the home ground buff, they also got the influencer buff as well, with Wise showing up at the venue himself. He is a legend in Blacklist International, so that will provide them a little bit more motivation for them to do well, and it's so far showing in game number 1. Now we'll be going into the draft for game number 2. Do you think that Mai is still a worthwhile ban, or it's an overly banned hero?
Like I said, I don't think it's probably Inua's best pick. He didn't get it in the last series he played against Elevate, and I think he may have played it in the MENA qualifier, but again, it's not something that I can remember, so it can't have been that great if he did pick it, right? So it's maybe best just leaving it to the control mages, like the Princess Frost, like the Lady Chen, like the Yixing, like the Nua, because those are big picks within the Season 3 Invitational.
Oh yeah, I do think the Nua is much more important hero as well, including the Yixing, which is one of the popular heroes to be picked. Now, of course, we're getting to our draft, and the Mai is still upperways. The second pick team will ban out the Mai for some reason. And for the first ban, okay, I hope Blacklist did not skip the first ban though.
I don't think they did. Actually, no, they might have, unless the infograph hasn't actually updated. But yeah, because it's gone over to Gen.G, so whether they actually did ban it or not, I'm not too sure. But yeah, it's the Dolia ban onto the side of Gen.G, so they don't want that Enchantress coming through onto the side of Blacklist. But Blacklist need to ban out something like the Diadea or even the Dharma again, because if Gen.G don't ban out the Dharma this time around, I feel like it's going to be a straight pick for Chami. But yeah, it looks like they've missed out their first ban.
Okay, that means more heroes up for grabs. Okay, that's going to be interesting. All right, so the debate about Amai being banned out by the second team, yes, it is still being banned out. So Blacklist, okay, so they are turned to go for probably the Augur, but no,
there we go.
They go for the Dharma, the top pick hero now. This is a scary pick.
Very scary pick. I mean, we saw Chami on this pick yesterday, and we're going to be seeing him on this pick again. But more importantly, I mean, from Nongshim Red Force, the performance from Kyung9 on this pick has been absolutely devastating, causing ripples for the entire of the Season 3 Invitational. But it's going to be met with Wawa's Byron. So let's see how they can draft between this one. But it looks like a little bit of a shock for Gen.G of that game one, right? Like they're trying to think of what they can do to win this, but it's going to be the Nua coming in for Inua.
Yeah, we spoke about the Nua, right? It's a very good high ground hero as well. So in case they will push back, at least the Nua could still do something to try to push out the minions to buy them a little bit more time in hopes of coming back if they're stuck in a sticky situation. The Arlie being picked up by Blacklist. This is a dangerous farm laner, lots of mobility, able to do a lot of damage, able to poke front and just move back. So it's something they need to consider how they got to deal with the Arlie.
Yeah, a lot of burst damage already coming through from the side of Blacklist, but we are going to get a new pick onto the Gorge. It's going to be Yao into the jungle, so maybe something that either Ray or Roche has been cooking up here. Let's see who is actually going to get that, and are they actually going to lock in a farm lane marksman this time around?
Farm lane. Okay, that is a possibility though, so it's still up for debate here, especially for the teams. Now, Blacklist, they're going to focus on banning out the farm lanes. The Gen.G is out, and what else? There's still a decent amount of options, like just because this is still game number 2 of farm laners that they can pick. Of course, they can pick the lone for themselves.
All right, okay, so Yao there gets locked in, and it looks like they're going to put Clue on the Chow. So very interestingly, they're going to have either the Whirlpool come through, as well as the CC from her tidal ability as well. So we'll see a little CC come through for Gen.G. Hopefully it kind of upsets the shake of Blacklist here, but Blacklist are definitely going for a very aggressive team comp here. So hopefully Chaz gets to lock in something like the Lian Po or the Zhong Fei the ban, sorry. So Lian Po going in here, yes, the all red. Look at that color palette. That is being organized. That's definitely been organized. They're all red. They're all showing the same kind of colors. Those that match together win together, right?
Yeah, good call there, Blam, on the Lampo pick there. Yes, they need a little bit more durability, and now they have a perfect lineup, if you ask me. Good engagement, damage from the back line, especially with Gan and Mo, and then you have the Pei that can really hold out the front, and the Dharma that can play the sneaky moves going in from the back line. And the Fuzi, okay, Fuzi Dacha used to be a solid combo, but after some rework, that's no longer possible. But what's possible is still Fuzi to be the split pusher hero, just to try to drag off the attention of Blacklist Invitational to the other lane.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if they're actually able to build and actually do the split push here, but it looks like a potential for, I mean, Futsu may be into the jungle here, it may be Yao into this, but I'm not too convinced at Gen.G's approach here with no marksman. It worked against Elevate, it didn't work against Blacklist, and I feel like this is the third and last attempt that they should try, because if they don't win this round, like I've already said many times, Sir Claire, there's not really much other than pride for the side of Gen.G to play for.
Yeah, now they had a moment to digest it, like the Fuzi pick. Yeah, so that would leave them without any marksman again. So let's see how they're going to deal with it. I mean, this is like what we have mentioned, right? This is a do or die situation for Gen.G. They must win this game. If not, it's out for them, and they still need to play the following matches just to end the best of 5. So based on the draft, I think it's quite clear, unless you have other thoughts, that Blacklist International, they have the better draft.
They've got a more aggressive draft, right? They've got the burst damage, they've got the CC from the Lian Po, as well as Dharma from his Truth Mantras as well. So it's going to be all about Chami maximizing the Truth Mantra, like we saw from Kyung9 yesterday, just landing those crucial crowd controls, getting like 3 or 4 members of Gen.G caught into that ability. He's then going to leave it wide open for the likes of Pei and Ali just to come through and smash it.
And looks like, yes, they're going to send Fuzi down back into the farm lane, and Rock is still in the jungle role. Alright, they're not switching it up, they are trusting the process. Just like how I've always heard these football teams always like to say.
Yep.
But the thing is that they are in a one-game situation. If this is like their first match in the entire tournament, then maybe that's fine. But now they are in this very, very tough situation, but they're still trying to trust the process.
Yeah, I feel like this experimentation should have probably come through when playing against Elevate, because again, Elevate wasn't really that experimental, whereas Blacklist have the great brains and mind of TG, the coach, behind them. So if they want to play experimental, Blacklist is like, hey, hold my beer, we can be experimental too. But again, Rock playing the jungle is going to be super interesting here. It's going to be seeing how Ray fits into this farm role. And again, with Futsu at level 1, he needs to try and get the Spark Force Dagger built early rather than later, because that's his way of getting that wave clear, right?
Yeah, I mean, we can see Ali's definitely having a good time. He can easily poke and come back, and as much as they can go back, they can heal up, that's fine, but the poking will definitely continue, and there's almost no way to stop the Ali. Plus, the fact that Chaz will be the frontliner for Ali, will be the bodyguard. Ali will have free lane.
All right, nice, beautiful pull in there onto Lian Po. Doing a lot of damage, though, so Gen.G not going for the early level invade into the jungle may actually benefit them going into this game, too. So it's still all to win, but right now we've seen that Blacklist definitely have the faster farming, and you can already see that Pei is in the enemy jungle without any kind of restraints. He's taken one camp onto the next, onto the lizards, may even go for the Azure Golems, but he can sense that Yao is in the mid lane, so I feel like dipping out now is probably the best point, but some nice double blades coming from Dragon.
Okay, so what would help the Fuzi to sustain a little bit more on the farm lane is the Eye of the Whirlpool, and he's able to call in for reinforcements if needed, if push comes to shove for him. But I don't know about this. I'm still not really convinced. The fact that we have seen it before, yes, there were some successes, but we're talking about going up against Blacklist here, so the record doesn't really favor Gen.G. But they might prove us wrong, and I would like to see that. I'd like to be proven wrong that, you know, this composition without a traditional farm laner, it works.
Yeah, I mean, if we can get Gen.G playing on the front foot, I feel like the Futsu here is going to be a great counter against the Ali, using that Sage's Might to lock it down, and then you're kind of like stuck in a very small area with Futsu, and especially if he's building that attack speed early on, which it looks like he is, it's going to be deadly for the side of Blacklist, and it's going to be something that Golden Kite's going to have always in the back of his mind.
And Chaz moved away for a bit, but that's fine. But we're going to see an engagement at the top.
Chami does actually get the truth mantras with onto the side of Gen.G, and Roche actually does fall there as well, going in a little bit too deep with Yao.
That's going to be pretty straightforward. They have all the damage, especially with a couple of blades coming from Dragon to deal that burst damage in, and it hit very, very well. And a straightforward cleanup from there. There's nothing much that Wawa could do. All he can do is just watch from the inside of his tower.
Yeah, he's got to be careful. This is a 2v1. This is a Dharma. This is a Pei. They do so much damage, and there's only so much that turret can actually do for you as they take down Wawa as well. The Annihilation not quite connected onto Chami 1, which was the desired target.
I love how Chami actually tanked out the tower for his other teammate to come in and finish up the job. That is teamwork at its best. You know, in many situations when we play our ranked games, it's like people just run away and leave you hung up for dry. But in this situation, they just show that, you know, trust between teammates is so important.
Oh, very important. I mean, this is looking like a Blacklist early game domination, right? They're able to take T1 up into the clash lane. There is no sort of foreshadowing for the side of Gen.G just yet. We see Yao going in a little bit too overzealous there. There's so much CC, and that is the direct counter for Yao, is if you've got CC, he's got no way out.
And what is Wawa going to do? He can't do much. All he can do is just watch that his buff gets stolen away. Oh man, this is going from bad to worse here for Gen.G right now. And the fact of the matter is that the Overlord's been taken by Blacklist. Again, another advantage. But at the bottom...
What a denial of recall there as well. Just beautifully played there by Chaz, sorry, with the CC, just stopping the recall from the Dachao. And again, they tried to go for the T1 down into the bot lane, so trading T1s again, but they need to make sure that they stop the growth of Chami 1 into the clash lane, because once more, Chami 1's looking like he's one of the stronger components going into this Game 2 draft, right?
Yeah, and now they're going to focus on the mid lane. I'm seeing a clash coming in, and that's why Gen.G, they just disengage. They have to let the mid tower go for now, that is, but they're making the rotation to the bottom. Fuzi, run!
Yes, 5v2 coming through. The couple blades do miss it, but the Iron Whirlpool does come through as well. They are going to teleport in, but it is going to be Juicy taking down the T1, so they do miss out the turret. It's Ray going down already. A trade for Golden Kite, but down as well is Chaz going in with Wawa getting deleted by the couple blades. It is all to gain here for Blacklist and all to lose for Gen.G.
Yeah, the CC did not do Wawa any favors there. He was so slow. He might as well be stunned at that point and easily be taken out. The Eye of the Whirlpool used to call in reinforcements, but they unfortunately still lost the fight. So it's not about the numbers now, it's about getting the farm back, because they have a significant gap now against Blacklist.
Oh, a very significant gap. I mean, we're going into the 7-minute mark, right? And they're behind by about 4K gold. Sorry, I almost undersold themselves. Sorry, Blacklist, but the side of Gen.G really need to do something, because right now they're relying on the split push here, but there is a 3v1 engage here. Chami may go down. The Annihilation is just completely dodged once more, because I feel like Nua's Annihilation only really has optimal effectiveness if the CC into the team fight, and there's nothing for the side of Gen.G. And here we are, we're seeing Wawa getting caught once more on the wrong side of the gorge. So another kill going over to Gen.G, and another kill going over to Blacklist. That's 2 more in the ranks. The only thing that they can really rely on is that Ray is focusing this split push.
You know, if anyone watches the movie Shaolin Soccer, this is a situation where they say, go you take 4. I'll translate that later. But another kill at the top here given to Blacklist.
Yeah, no, Blacklist are definitely not giving in this one. They are not wanting to give over many deaths to the side of Gen.G, but they are definitely dominating the gorge once more. And like I said many times, the word to the wise is that if Gen.G don't book up their ideas and get a win in this round, and then a further 2 wins, it's pretty much sayonara.
Okay, I'm just looking at the position of Ray at the bottom, right? Yes, he gets a consolation taking down the tower, but he's still not going back yet. And he has 50% health. He is kind of surrounded. So it's a matter of time till Blacklist engages. But then again, thanks to the Eye of the Whirlpool, he's back to safety.
Yeah, that's the only way they can really win this one, right? Is if they get an effective team fight and they kind of forget about Ray on the Futsu, because he is the main pushing force on the side of Gen.G. We're already seeing that Yao is down by 2 deaths at the moment, so not quite working out the way they want it to. Rock actually not performing as well as I thought he would.
Yeah, Rock has not been having a good time. Maybe it's because of his role, right? So that's one thing. But an engagement at bottom.
I mean, the Chow was meant to get out of there, but Ray is going to be the unfortunate soul getting taken down by a 5v1 against Blacklist, completely shutting down that split push mechanic for the next 22 seconds. We did see Wawa try and push the Clash Lane T2, but it's not going to be enough for the side of Gen.G.
Yeah, Drew was like, sorry, man. Gotta save myself, and just gets away all alone, leaving Ray hung up to dry again. And right now, again, it's still Blacklist in the driver's seat. They're just waiting for the minions to arrive before they take down the mid tower.
Yeah, looking for the minions to arrive here. It's just pretty much a waiting room for the side of Gen.G right now, which is definitely not a waiting room I'd want to be in. I would be anxious as heck going through in this waiting room that Gen.G is currently in, and the couple blades just hitting too hard onto Yao. Yao hasn't had the time to farm up and get any items through. He is still struggling to take any blows, especially those burst damages from Dragon on the side of Blacklist.
Oh, again here at the red buff.
Yeah, Eye of the Whirlpool at the red buff. They're able to pick off Juicy. Okay. They got Juicy. Down goes Pei, so a bit of aggression, a bit of the gas taken off the pedal there, so maybe they can do something here. They've got the Overlord, the Shadow Overlord being taken by the side of Gen.G, but we do have Chami, we do have Chaz quite nearby.
It will be interesting if this might be the turnaround for Gen.G, but the fight's happening.
Oh no, Rock is looking pretty low as well, and if Rock goes down, they have no smite, so there's a potential of the reset here for the Overlord, and it does look like it's going to happen, and Dragon is going to take down Ray as well, so overall, they're going into an Overlord fight with a man down, so they're going to be careful on the side of Blacklist, on the side of Gen.G, sorry, and in terms of that, also, the gold lead, they need to bring this back.
It's close to a 10k difference now. And Blacklist, they managed to push Gen.G back into their base. And they don't really have heroes that can do like pickoffs or from the back. It's going to be rather difficult, but here we go.
It's the problem without having a marksman, right? There is no way into the backline. Yao is shown time and time again. He can get into the backline, but he can't get back out. That is probably one of the only times he was able to do it. They're taking the high ground turret down into the farm lane. It is going to be Juicy taken down. So maybe just now, this is the saving lifeline that they need from Gen.G. But Clue, the lifeline of Gen.G has gone down as well.
And it doesn't help the fact that their only best high ground defense hero is Inua, right? So with this kind of situation, without a traditional marksman, it's even hard for them to clear out the minion waves.
Oh, very, very difficult. I mean, you're looking at a 10k gold difference once more from the side of Blacklist. They have been pretty much been given this one again, but Gen.G need to do something. They really need to do something if they have any hopes of playing a tiebreaker against Elevate.
And Steal? Nah,
Nope,
not
no
gonna happen
steal.
there. That was a wishful thinking there. I mean, if they were able to steal that somehow, then maybe that would give them a lifeline.
Yeah, I mean, I think they need more than a lifeline right now on the side of Gen.G. I think they need a bit of a miracle, unfortunately, because they've gone for two very unorthodox drafts, but being beaten by, well, taken conventional defeats by the side of Blacklist.
Yeah, a miracle or maybe 9 lives like Cat. They need everything they could get at this moment because right now the Dragons are coming in and Gen.G, we did talk about the potential of them defending, clearing out the minion waves. This is potentially the final push.
Yeah, potentially the game closer here. It's definitely the last bastion of defense for the side of Gen.G does go down. It is going to be the higher ground turret into the mid lane. And right now, they're just trying to get onto the back line, just trying to waste a lot of the abilities from Futsu. We do see the support ability come through there from the Liam Po, as well as the Trevor Smash into the back line as well, connected onto one of the side of Gen.G. Forcing them away is the couple blades. And is it going to be enough to take down Ray? Ray goes down as well as Rock. It is a 2-0 for Blacklist, and there is no means of Gen.G coming back into this one. I am afraid even going through into the next game, it's goodbye for the guys.
Oh man, Blem, my heart breaks for Gen.G, to be honest. I mean, the fact that they still have to play the final game and the game doesn't really matter for them, it is just sad, right? It's just heartbreaking. I feel for Gen.G, to be honest.
Yeah, I feel for them too. I mean, they should have taken a more conventional approach to game one so they could get the victory on the board. They shouldn't have done anything too risky because the group stage doesn't give error for risk, especially when you've only got 2 best-of-5s to play and you've already played 1 and you faltered 3-1 defeat. So I felt like they should have gone to the situational room, which is the staff room or the players room, and just said, guys, look, we need to make sure we get our best foot forward with this one. And they didn't take it because they were punished from game 1 and into game 2, punished even further.
Yeah, and you know what? Coming into the potential last game here, though it might not matter that much to Gen.G, but I hope they do put in a good performance. At least give it back to the fans, right? The supporters of Gen.G coming all the way from maybe even the Middle East and giving them the support all the way from there. Hopefully they'll be able to at least give something back to the fans. But if we want to see something interesting, I would also like to see Gen.G coming up with heroes that we have not picked at all this season. Maybe like a, I don't know, I'm just putting out names, right? Like a Donghua, like a Guiguzi, that sort of pick.
Don't get kid excited. He's probably watching this one, and the sheer mention of Guiguzi is probably getting him very excited, like a very giddy kid at a sweet shop. But yeah, game 3 is probably going to be a bit of fan service here for the side of Gen.G. Even if they're able to get a win on the board, I think that'd be good for them, a bit of pride going forward. But what a monstrable performance by Blacklist. We're able to be stopped in this game 2. 16 kills to 3 deaths, only an extra minute on the timer of the overall game time as well.
And look at Dragon's damage output, right? It's almost half the damage output of the team, 41% there with more than 100k. But that's totally understandable, right? I mean, if you're a gun and mo, you just need to hit your couple of blades, and that's a lot of damage by itself. But on the other end, Gen.G, well, pretty balanced overall for damage dealt, so no one significantly was able to be a big threat towards Blacklist International.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's definitely a clean wave once more for Blacklist coming through here in game 2 with a sizable difference in the gold as well. That 11k coming through strong. They are going for the double digits in the difference, right? They're not looking for the Tempest Dragon fights. They're not looking for those 20+ minute matches. But definitely MVP going over to Dragon there, showing Inua this is how you play Ganon mode.
Yeah, so Gen.G took the first gun and mo, and it was shown by Dragon on how to play it. 706, a perfect game by him. Damage taken, of course, very minimal, only 7% because he took care of his position. Damage output the most at 41%, and that was a lot of damage dealt by him. Let's check out the best moments here from the previous round and from the get-go again. Blacklist International, they run havoc over the jungle side of Gen.G.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't even see Gen.G actually even venture into the enemy jungle once more, right? I mean, we saw that Wawa was on the wrong side of the map again, but it was just a complete domination in these team fights for Blacklist. They had all the right the components for a great team fight. I mean, if they didn't lock in the Liam Poe, maybe it would have been a bit more of a even battleground. But we saw yesterday, both me and you, Cloud, both front row seats to Chaz's performance on this Liam Poe. I mean, what would Gen.G expected?
Oh yeah, you're right. We did see a super performance by Chaz, and the fact that he was able to be given the land pull. So I guess the result is something that we will kind of expect as well. But is it worthwhile to ban the land pull out of Chaz's hand? Maybe not. So that's also another thing to consider.
I mean, they went for unconventional picks, so they may go for unconventional bans, you know, at this point. So we'll see here, but here's a bit of a zoom in. We do see Chami getting that fantastic connect of the Truth Mantras into the base territory as well, which picks off both Wara and Rock, which just sets up this victory of Game 2 for Blacklist.
Well, aside from the result, I also shout out to production as well. Putting up those highlights, how they zoom in and out is just a beauty to watch, so that we know exactly which fights to focus on. So great work there, production, for putting up those highlights. And yeah, I guess the next game, it is of course match point for Blacklist International. Gen.G, it's either they truly go for a comfort draft and comfort roles for them to give the best back to their fans, or come up with something entertaining, so to speak, by picking heroes that we have not seen at all throughout the entire tournament.
Yes, we'll have to wait and see what they do decide to pull out of the next game draft. Like I said, it could just be pure fan service. It could be for pride. There's plenty to play for on the Gorge. Just not an advancement into the Season 3 Invitational, because they needed that 3-1 victory scoreboard, but they're currently sitting on 0-2. So unfortunately, I don't see a way out of this one for Gen.G. But maybe they'll learn. This is the first international competition of the year, so there is plenty of space for them to learn. They have clearly been tested coming into the global stage as well. These teams are definitely known to shy away from a fight, especially Blacklist.
Yeah, and Blacklist, they are proving to be the hometown heroes as well, with such a convincing performance. And of course, this also is being observed by the other teams that have, especially those teams who have qualified onto the playoffs, and they might potentially meet up with Blacklist International. Of course, we don't know the draws yet. We have to complete the group stages before that is done. But Blacklist International also giving the home fans something to cheer on.
Yeah, I mean, this will actually complete the group stage, right? Like, there will be no more plays from Group A. This is the last day of Group A coming through right now, because it's going to be tomorrow where the deciding standings actually come through for the three remaining teams to see where they stand in their groups. But we're not done with this one yet, and I feel like Gen.G, even though they can't advance any further into the tournament, they've got something in their bags. Maybe just go out with a bang, right? That's what they need to do with this one. Just do it for the MENA region.
Yep, do it for the MENA region, Gen.G. I'd like to see them put up a good fight here against a potential final game against Blacklist International. Of course, we are heading back onto our stage here, and the fans are still around with a lot of interesting Dolias there. That's like, what, six or seven Dolias there on the ground as well to cheer up for their favorite teams. And also a couple of other cosplayers as well. Man, Blam, I wish I was there.
I mean, we could cosplay, right? I mean, we could go as, I don't know, maybe Liam Poe. Maybe we could even gender bend like an Ali or something. We got something among us. We could do something here, Cloud. We'll set it up for the next LAN, right?
I could go for the Dharma. I mean, the hairstyle does suit me, so...
Exactly. Just get some big golden fists. You're okay.
Yeah, it's not
We'll get some LEDs going. Get some LEDs in your fists.
Yeah, just so that I can show off my skills, right? Yeah.
That's it.
Okay. We wish we can do that one day. We'll pull that off. Maybe one day when we are on site doing our desk there, right? So
absolutely,
mark my words. Okay. But for Gen.G right now, the cameras over them, we can see that they are pretty devastated. I mean, I honestly feel for them, so I do hope that the home fans or the supporters there do give their energy to Gen.G as well.
I just like the fact that the guys at the back were just starting to wave, and then the rest of the crowd just waved simultaneously. It's like it was like a hive mind or something. It was too well timed. It was very good, very, very good. But we can see Elevate into the back there. We see a Jizzix looking to cheer on his fellow teammates as well going into this one, and the Dolias waiting for that Dolia pick to come through once more.
Oh, look at the kid there doing the pose. He's like, yeah, that's my gamer pose. That's my game face on. If one day I'll be competing on such a stage. The crowd is really, really supportive, right? And look at the energy from the crowd. They're still doing those poses. You know, it's your 1 minute on camera moment. Make the best out of it.
Absolutely. I mean, making the best out of it. It's Gen.G picking the blue side for the first time in this best of 5. So maybe the blue is what they need to get through this game 3.
Oof, okay, here we go. So Gen.G is going to switch up to the blue side. Let's see if that gives them any advantage here. But when we talk about the my advantage, it is now down to Blacklist International if they want to let that one go.
If they do want to let that one go, it's going to be blinding out the Dolia once more. So unfortunately for the Dolia cosplayers, we're not going to get that one on the Gorge. But I do have to say, again, for KAGENDRA, that was probably the best Dolia we've seen so far at the Season 3 Invitational. Another team that has unfortunately had to walk as well. But yeah, Blacklist banning out the Mai Shiranui once more, really locking down Inua's pick on the Mai Shiranui. But going into this next ban, it's going to be the Orgrin. Again, this is probably something that should have been banned earlier on. Blacklist still hasn't chosen it. And from yesterday that we both know, Juicy on that Orgrin was absolutely feisty.
I just want to put out a food for thought, right? For Blacklist International, since they have confirmed their slot into the following round, they have the option of not showing their strats. So they can go for picks that we don't normally see. So yeah, I guess if they want to go for that just to entertain all of us, why not?
Absolutely. I mean, we see the Doom pick come through for Ray potentially. I think Rock will actually go back down into the farm lane for this one. Lord only knows if he actually plays a farm lane hero. But we do see the Dharma ban come through, so they still don't want to give Wawa over his big prized pick. But the Zhongfei coming here for Chaz is huge.
So the Princess Force, Zhangfei pick. Okay, these are rather safe picks. Zhangfei has been rather popular, but the win rate for Zhangfei haven't been that good. And it's really down to execution, right? Just because of how the unbridled outburst, timing and all, it takes a bit of coordination among the other teammates. And we're going to see the Lady Sun being picked up by Gen.G, so they're going to pick an early marksman. And finally, they're picking a traditional farm laner.
So yeah, a little bit late to go back to basics, I feel here, but this is definitely the power picks that we needed in game 1 for Gen.G. The Lady Sun, the Ming, the Dune. This is the Gen.G we know. Where was this? 2 games ago, and now we're getting Guan Yu. Oh, Chammy on this one. They've been teasing this with this one since yesterday, Cloud.
Yeah, and fun fact though, so Guan Yi and Zhangfei, so in the lore of the 3 kingdoms, these are what we call the 5 tiger generals, 2 of them at least. And how it impacts in game though, so this is another fun fact. They will have a small buff if they are in the same lineup, but the buff is probably like just like 2 damage or 2 strength. It's not that significant, but if you're able to get that small little buff, I guess it's a nice bonus.
Hey, I mean, anything to give Blacklist a little bit more of an edge, right? Going into the knockout stages, but they do ban out the Mai Yin into the ban phase. And again, once another bit of beautiful lore there from Cloud. I clearly need to brush up on all my lore, either from the teams and the game as well. But the Musashi getting banned out here as well means that they don't have that single target CC going into the backline onto Rock's Lady Sun. And then they ban out the Lady Jen. So again, another shot at Inua's hero pool.
Yeah, and just for kicks, right? If Gen.G were to pick the Chow Chow, then I can pull off another fun fact. So, like the Chow Chow is like the villain in the 3 Kingdoms lore, and Guan Yu and Zhangfei were one of the or the 2 of the couple of heroes that go up against Chow Chow. So yeah, so I guess just to complete our lore, Gen.G just pick the Chow Chow just for kicks.
All I know is I know that Da Chow means big bridge and Xiao Chow means little bridge, right? I'm
That
pretty
sounds
sure
about
that
it.
is right. I think Kim told me, or I found that out myself from a YouTube video, and God knows what's right on YouTube anymore. But there we go. We do get the Charlotte pick come through. They do ban out the Gen.G towards the end as well. So it is going to be Wawa picking up the Charlotte, which we've seen in his last best of 5 series. But Marco Polo coming out for Golden Kite as well. Ooh, with the Yixing.
Okay, so the Yixing with the world is my board. Try to lock in as many people as possible from Blacklist International, especially if you're the Guan Yu, which is fairly mobile, very high movement speed. So you want to stop him from just running away. But the thing is that the world is my board. It has a channeling time, so that will allow a room, a window for Guan Yu to actually step away from it.
Oh, Juicy with the Luna pick as well. They're definitely bringing out some nice little fun picks for the side of Blacklist. I don't think we've ever seen Juicy on the Luna as well. And finally getting Chami on the Guan Yu is going to be pretty huge in terms of dictating the pace of this match for Blacklist.
Lots of damage output from Blacklist International. You kind of think about it as well. Guan Yu can go from the back. Marco Polo obviously goes in with the Fervor Barrage, and you have the CC coming from Zhang with a brighter outburst. So Blacklist, again, they're looking very, very dangerous. But Gen.G, at least they're going back to basics with the Lady Sun, but they must protect the Lady Sun from the potential backstab of Guan Yu.
Yeah, a little bit 2 games too late, but hey, like I said, they can fight for pride with this one now. Even if they're able to get a reverse sweep, which would be pretty cool, but in terms of the overall stand-ins, it's not going to mean much for Gen.G other than pride. So maybe we can hope and pray for a 3-2 going forward, eh?
Yeah, why not, right? Let's see if they can actually pull this one back. Right now, looking at the draft overall, again, I feel that Blacklist International, they do have a very balanced draft. They have a good tank, good CC, good damage output, and obviously from the case that we have seen previously, they have good team coordination. And at the end of the day, you can have the best draft possible, but it's all down to execution. And Blacklist International, they definitely do have that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we saw many teams falter with the Zhangfei as well. Even today alone, some of the unbridled outbursts that have come through have not been on quite up to the pale as well, quite not setting up the team fights that they need to. So that doesn't seem like it's going to be a bit of an issue here for Blacklist, because we know Chami, he has the great vision score. He is a very good support player, and he's definitely, I mean, not Chami, sorry, Chaz Chami is a very good player in his own right, but Chaz is a very good support player thanks to vision and his use of these tank heroes in the support role.
Everything leans towards the Blacklist International, but let's see if they can actually show it on the Gorge right now as the game continues on. Game number 3, the decider match here, the point match for Blacklist International. And we're going to start off with a traditional lineup, but a lot of poking in the middle onto Juicy.
Yeah, they decided to change the lanes here a little bit, so mid and farm switching around a little bit to make it a little bit easier on the Lady Sun to get a bit of farm up, especially over to into the mid lane as well as those side cams. We do see the flash in. Rock is going in. First blood. Where was this? 2 games ago. Rock is going down still though, and Guan Yu has made himself a present. Chami won on his motorbike using his abilities just to bully Clue into the fight.
Well, I take this positively, right? Like, I look at the glass half full. This is what you can do if you practically play under no pressure. It's like you just do it. It's like just all cards on the table. Let's just go in for it. Yes, they lost 2 players to Blacklist International, but hey, they're showing to Blacklist International that we want to put in a performance for our fans.
Absolutely. I mean, they did it there. They got the first blood, but they did lose 2 defeats as well into that one. Clue and Rock both going down, which is going to upset the pace of getting Rock those necessity resources to get those items into the late game. If it does go into the late game with Blacklist already picking up 2 kills for themselves, but the gold is actually very equal on both of these teams.
And rotations happening right now towards the bottom. I can see another pickup happening soon, and that's right now.
Oh, yes, that looks like Ray has been caught out there. A lot of freezing from the frigid prison is coming through, and there it is. Winter is here, and Ray has gone. Another kill being picked up for Blacklist, putting them a little bit still behind in the gold there, and even Stevens for Gen.G.
And that is against a jungler. So the jungler dying that many times, not the situation they want to be in, because he needs to farm, especially before the Overlord and Tempest is up.
Yeah, I mean, dying just before the Overlord is probably a lot worse, but having that leeway of about a minute to come back, get a bit of farm up, recruit all your camps, and get some more items in your utility is probably a lot better for the side of these two teams. We do see the Raj coming through,
Whoa!
and the Unbridled Outburst as well, picking off a double kill for Chaz. He's like, hey, guys, leave some kills for me, too.
Yeah, the support needs some love as well, right? He needs to get his KDA up. But we're going to see another engagement here. Juicy tried to be sneaky, tried to steal away the buff, but still, it was given to Ray. Much needed recovery there for Ray.
Yeah, he needs as many Azure Golems as possible, but at least Juicy's not being starved of that Azure Golem, which we've seen in the competition as well, where the enemy team has seen that they've locked in Luna, and then the opposition's been like, hey guys, we've got to take every Azure Golem away from this Luna. But Juicy is having free reign right now.
At this moment, yeah, Juicy, what does it take to stop him, right? So far, he's able to roam around the map, like go up and down, and just invade jungles. But he's prepping himself for the next objective. Probably going to go for the Tempest as usual as the main objective, and if they can secure a double objective, why not? But they have to do the business first. Look at the situation, they are rotating down, and we might see an engagement here just on the outside.
Yep, we do see the Unruly Blade come through as well, looking to just get him out of the way, but it is Guan Yu that's able to be like, hey, where are you going with that blade, buddy? I'm going to just use my Razor Cavalry to get you into the position that I need you for my team. Juicy getting the kill onto Ray as well, which is not where you want to fall if you are a jungle, when the neutral objectives are both up for these teams. But right now, we are seeing Blacklist looking potentially just to keep some priority in these lanes, making sure that the wave clears and that they can go into these neutral objective camps without a doubt in their mind.
Yeah, and they still continue to put pressure onto the bottom. Just look at this. World is my bot will be used. They should be able to get this one. And yes, they caught Dragon in it. So it was a straightforward kill. But at the top,
yes, I mean, Ray is looking still like he's taking some damage there from Juicy. Juicy's level 10, whilst Ray is level 8. That's 2 level experience ahead of your enemy jungle. You just got to make sure that your head doesn't get too big that you can't fit through the door.
and here comes the rest of them, and they see Ray at the forefront, but in the middle, Unbridled Outburst.
Oh, and Unbridled Outburst does land nicely there onto two of the side of Gen.G, but that's not the only thing. The Fever Barrage comes through, wipes a lot of the health off of Ray, but it is going to be Chami claiming another double kill for himself, trying to line up another MVP. But right now we're seeing that 17k difference to the 40k over to the side of Gen.G. Neither of these teams have managed to break for the neutral objective, but it looks like Chaz is starting it for his boys. Yeah,
he's awakening. But at the bottom, they choose not to continue on the objective. Instead, they want to go for kills.
Oh yes, potentially. Potentially, we do see that Guan Yu comes in from the back there, takes down Rock, and it is just Wawa trying to defend the T1 down into the farm lane, but it is going to be Chami picking up another kill, but Juicy secures the last hit on that T1. Still, not quite managing to get any of those neutral objectives, but at this point, when you are 4k ahead, do you really need to go for these?
Well, they might, but yeah, I guess they don't really need to spend their time doing that. They might as well go for kills when they can, right? Plus, Heroic Charge is a basic skill, so they can just go all in as what they're doing right now.
Oh yes, they are trying to all go in here, trying a bit of a fight for these two teams. The Winter is here, just get landed a little bit too far behind there for the side of Blacklist, but it is going to be a 2-1 trade overall. Being a double kill going over to Juicy. I feel like they just need to kind of clean up these waves, put all their eggs in a basket, and take the roosters home to roosting.
And Chami is pretty low. If he has a good amount of health, then he might go in to charge, but he's absorbing them.
Oh, yep. No, not quite doing anything here. There's not much action going on into the mid lane. They're able to take the T1 up into the Clash lane, though. So opening up those side lanes is Blacklist.
So right now, Blacklist, they're just resetting, waiting for their skills to be back online, especially Chami, who's the only one without the ult for now. But they're still going to engage in the middle.
Still going to engage in the middle. The World is aboard is coming in as well, but Ray is able just to get out of there just ever so slightly with a sliver of health. is just the saving grace that Gen.G needed there.
Yeah, thanks to the world is my boy, right? Buying him a bit of time to step away from danger. If he was taken out, then again, like the objectives, either the Overlord or Tyrant will be up for grabs. Speaking about Overlord and the Tyrants, none of them been taken by Blacklist yet when they have this level of advantage.
No, nothing yet. We can see that Blacklist are ahead by about 4k gold still, so maintaining that difference for at least a good 3 to 4 minutes. And now they're looking to try and claim a little bit more. We see that Chaz is just doing a bit of intel take here. He's able to soak up the damage. The Unbridled Light Burst does come through, landed onto Clue. World is my board. It's felt a little bit short there. It's very narrow, but it is enough to keep Juicy and Dragon into place. But right now, we're seeing that Juicy is having his go at Ray. Ray gets out there with, Rock, sorry, gets out there with just so little health.
Yeah, Unbridled Outburst is out, so they cannot continue on the fight. But that's okay. They have absolute control of the situation. Now it's time for them to take down the mid tower. At the same time, Gen.G still wants to defend it.
They still want to defend it. They want to defend onto their pride right there. Is the Wind Slash connecting, but the Razor Cavalry comes in over the wall, takes the Rock, which is a lot of the damage from the side of Gen.G. And also getting taken down is Wawa. So they're already down 2-0 trade here. But right now, they're looking more eyes on sight to that T1 in the mid lane.
Yeah, Juicy came in to poke from the side just to go back to the top lane, but now they are converging on the middle. I would go back if I were players from Gen.G.
I would definitely. I mean, that board is a bit too small for my liking there. It looks like we are going to see Inua get caught out there. The passive does try and save him. The invincibility for a brief amount of time and movement speed from Yixing was just not quite enough to get Inua out alive.
Time for Blacklist International to pull the brakes and to reset everything. Reset their health, reset their skills, and prepare for the next onslaught. And so far, we're almost into 10 minutes. No objectives taken by either side at all. But okay, since we're heading into 10 minutes anyway, might as well wait for the next phase. But the chase is happening on the Wawa.
Oh yes, a bit of a chase once more onto the side of Gen.G. Oh, okay, Wawa gets Dragon. He gets a bit of a consolation prize. The Winter is here was not fast and chilling enough on the side of Blacklist. But yeah, funnily enough, they haven't gone for any neutral objectives. Maybe they're waiting for the Shadow variants. Maybe Blacklist is saying, hey, we're too good for the normal objectives. We want the Shadow ones to come through now. But they're looking to take the T2 down into the mid lane as well, opening up that mid lane all the way to the high ground turret. And they're still far ahead with the 6k gold.
And no surprise right now with the level of control that Blacklist has, they're going for a double objective. But Gen.G will not make it easy. They seem to want to challenge for it. They have arrived and it's going to be too late.
Very late. They were trying to get the steal. Oh, they did get the crucial kill, Theft. Nicely done. It was a Shadow Overlord that the side of the Blacklist got, but like I said, Gen.G are just playing for a little bit of fan service here, getting all the little objectives that they can.
Wow, okay. That was a sexy move there to actually steal something away from Blacklist International, but now Blacklist, they are angry. They'll be like, that should have been ours. Now you guys are going to pay for it.
Yeah, that was our double Shadow objective. Thank you very much. But no, they have the minions coming down into the farm lane. But it looks like it's going to be Wawa able to clean them off pretty quickly and dodge around. The Winter is here as well. So they have the Vanguards to answer for as well. And it is the Shadow Vanguard down into the farm lane. So is this going to be the point where Blacklist open up the base?
They're close to getting the T3 at the bottom. Only one hit left, but no minions inside. So they have to let that one go for now. Instead, they're going to shift their focus onto the top. And Chammy, as usual, is doing his work there. Still at the bottom, a bit of a chase happening. Tries to steal away the red buff, but looks like it got taken away by Golden Kite.
Yeah, Golden Kite was able to secure that Crimson Golem for himself, which, when you give it over to Marco Polo, is probably not the best when you are getting lathered with that splendid revolver. But now we see the higher ground opened up for the side of Gen.G. It is now going to be a complete wipe into the farm lane. So now the enhanced minions come through. It's just a matter of time, it seems, for Blacklist to try and ride this one out. But we did see that the Eternity Blades being built onto the likes of the Lady Sun. Maybe they can just get enough damage to be offensive, get a good team fight, and maybe get a bit of a push here for the side of Gen.G.
Yeah, and because of the presence of Lady Sun, at least this time, it gives them a better chance of defending the high ground, but they also have to protect the Lady Sun. Now we're going to check out the fight earlier on here. They got the kill pretty straightforward, given to Golden Kites, and yeah, I guess it was just a straightforward jungle invasion there by Blacklist.
Very straightforward jungle engage. I mean, it's easy when you don't have any side turrets to worry about and any mid lane turrets to worry about other than the higher grounds, which is what they're basically eyes is on the prize for the side of Blacklist. Over the wall is Dragon placing down. The winter is here. The world is my board comes down as well. Ray gets the knock up onto Dragon, so there is a few kills going overboard. It's Chaz going down, but it's going to be a 3-1 trade for Gen.G. But we do see some more kills coming through. It's only Inua and Ray alive right now, as well as Juicy Dragon and Golden Kite. Is that enough to finish off the game? They look too battered and bruised.
Yeah, and their health is pretty low, so they have to back up for now. But they got a significant trade-off, right? They took out the top turret, they took out the mid as well. So right now, it's all open for Blacklist International. They can afford to just wait for the next wave and come back in later on. But looking over at the replay, I want us all to keep an eye on to Chammy's movement, how he came from behind, comes in with the heroic charge, pushes the Lady Sun forward, putting him in an awkward position for his other teammates to take out.
Yeah, very well played by Chemi, but then he also met his maker, which was Ray getting that wind slash. And speaking of wind slash, able to land it onto Juicy there as well, unruly bladed out of there, so he doesn't commit too early into this interaction with the Luna.
And looking at the current situation, there's still almost no way for Gen.G to make this comeback. I mean, they are put in a very difficult situation. Now, the Overlord will be taken by Blacklist. The script seems to be the same as per game number 2. You take the Overlord. In fact, now they can go for a double objective. And by the next wave, they could end the game.
They could end the game. They're able to get that double objective, which they sought for in the 10-minute mark, but it was Rock that stole it away from them. But look at the goal difference here. It's 8k, but it's 50k on the side of Blacklist. Yes, this is probably their longest game going forward. So again, it's just proof in the pudding that the conventional picks generally give you a better chance at defending your crystal. But we see Chaz coming in from the top lane as well. Whilst we see that Ray is looking pretty low, and it's going to be that Razor Cavalry pushing him away into the winter is here. And there it is. Chaz goes a little bit too far, but it is going to be Blacklist rounding this one off as a 3-0. Here is your top seed going through for Group A into the knockout stage.
And here we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Your hometown heroes, Blacklist International, walks in to the playoffs with the red carpet rolled out in front of them with the spotlights onto them as the stars of the Filipino region. And they are showing how strong they are with a convincing win against Gen.G.
Absolutely. Only dropping one round in the entire group stage is Blacklist going through into the knockout stage. Looking very strong. A big competitor to at least get it into those semi-final brackets, right? Because now they're met with, we have the others that are confirmed of the side of Nongshim as well. So they now get to sit at the table, being top of the table with Nongshim.
Oh, okay. Don't step on the speaker there, my man. Don't step on the speaker. Okay, stay on stage. Okay, so they're going to take their bow with the home fans, and yeah, I guess they're just coordinating themselves. But okay, oh, they're getting out. Okay, guys, you gotta say thanks to the home fans first. Oh, okay, before that it's going to be Gen.G. But anyway, let's say thank you to Gen.G as well for competing in this tournament, and we hope to see them again in following tournaments.
Yeah, not quite the outcome we expected for Gen.G. We expected them to at least make it into the top 2 there, but after they got a bit of an unsuspected defeat from Elevate, it was hard for them to try and come back in this one because their window of opportunity was very small and it was closing fast as soon as they lost that first round.
Yeah, I mean, the first 2 rounds, as what you mentioned, right, it felt like an experimentation for them. The third round, it felt like, okay, we're going to truly play our draft. But by that time, it probably didn't matter that much. And it's maybe not too much about the draft anymore. It's about the motivation and also the goal that they want to go for. If they had this draft in the first game, then maybe they would have been more motivated to let's try to go for it.
Yeah, I mean, I can't bash anybody for trying something different, but when the stakes are so high, especially going into your last best of 5, you want to revert back to what you know. And looking at some of the faces on Gen.G, it's kind of what you were seeing, but they were being told that, hey, let's try and do this. Let's try this something different, and then we'll just learn going forward from now on. But yeah, that will be Gen.G going home, as well as A7 and KAGENDRA. So we're starting to see those knockouts spots start slowly revealing.
Yes, and we do have tomorrow as well to wrap up the group stages, but there will be a conversation for tomorrow as we will look at the summary of what are the games that will be played later on. But for now, looking at the dominance that Blacklist International has had against Gen.G, although it's 7-25, right? But I would still give it to Gen.G the fact that they're still able to farm up a decent amount of items like the Blazing Cave and the Venom Staff. They're still able to get those decent items in. It is just like if you make a comparison, then of course Blacklist, they're almost a full set.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely a display of why some of these teams that go against Blacklist ban out the Guan Yu from Chami 1, 919. That seems like an emergency number somewhere in the world, and it was definitely an emergency that Gen.G needed to call when Chami came through with that Razor Cavalry. But we're looking at the damage dealt by the side of Blacklist. We see that Juicy's actually managed to do majority of the damage, followed by Marco Polo. But in terms of the team fights, we always had Dragon there dropping down. The winter is here when it was needed.
Yeah, and we have two players from Blacklist hitting the 100k mark, right, in terms of damage dealt. We got Juicy as well as the Golden Kite. So again, it just shows the dominance that they have, and it is shown again through this draft from the get-go. It is Blacklist International all the way, and arguably this draft is even steeper than the one before.
It seems like it, but I think because it's spanned over such a longer time, obviously 4 minutes longer, it doesn't seem that long to us, but on the Gorge, it seems like a lifetime. And looking at the goal difference, it's actually probably the smallest it's been in the whole series as well. So again, just more proof in the pudding that conventional, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Well, definitely, Juicy is not broken because he's our MVP this round with a KDA of 7-11, damage taken 28%, damage output 33%, and a total goal of 28% as well. The Starman of Blacklist International.
Yes, I mean, it was well-deserved. It's probably one of the better Luna performances we've seen thus far in the Season 3 Invitational. So why not pull it out now when you are 2 points up and already destroying the competition? So 33% damage dealt and 28% taken. So not much in the margins there, but it does mean that he was very much always in the fight, but able to survive only with 2 deaths. And we're going to see exactly how Juicy was able to achieve this.
Yeah, I gotta commend Gen.G for putting up this fight very, very early on, right? It's like, okay, we tried to go for the jungle invasion. We tried to get something out of this. And so to speak, they went a bit too deep. They got something, but at least they show a bit of fight at the start.
They did show a bit of fight at the start, yes. That was what they needed, but it came a little bit too late for the side of Gen.G, unfortunately. But again, I feel like Chaz did a really good job on this one. I mean, he was still definitely in Zhongfei beast mode when he stepped on the speaker on stage, but that's what happens when you get into character, when you're so involved in Honor of Kings. But nonetheless, we are seeing here just the highlights of Blacklist against Gen.G. Just some really good team fights, a big brawl, which was a good way to send off Gen.G home.
Yeah, what else can we say about this situation, right? It's all Blacklist all the way. Yes, there were a couple of good, the world is my board, but it was not significant enough, the fact that there was not enough damage output from the side of Gen.G. And Rider Outburst, I must say, this round is absolutely on point. How it's used, how to secure the final kit. It is very well done by Chad.
Yeah, I mean, the combo with the Winters here and then the Razor Blade Cavalry is just brilliant because you're kind of trying to zone the enemies out of the area of effect of the Winters here, and then you just get Guan Yu come out of nowhere and just push you forward into the enemy team. So not only dealing damage, but then kind of stopping you for a brief second, whilst your rest of your team have the way in terms of damage. But this was the final moment here for Gen.G as we started to see the waves collapse, I believe. Yes, it is. This is where we start to see all of Gen.G fall, and then the push for the crystal, crowning Blacklist as your Group A first seed.
I was just looking at Chaz being very ambitious towards the end, right? But totally understandable. But there it is, the conclusion of Group A, and Blacklist International, they will top the group, followed by Elevate. So 2 Filipino teams confirmed onto the next round, and we have to say thank you to Gen.G for playing this season. As for Group B, we still have games to go. Right now, it's Vitality and AG. They are number 1 and number 2. Alpha 7, unfortunately, went out as well earlier today.
Yeah, so Vitality and AG's positions will be solidified tomorrow. Obviously, it's the first game of the day as well that it does get solidified as well. So that's going to be really exciting to have that conclusion so early on. But these are 2 Titan teams that I'm so looking forward to watching tomorrow.
Yeah, so it's more of like a determiner of who will get the first and second seeding for Group B, since it's pretty much locked in for now within this group. And we do have other groups as well that will be playing tomorrow just to conclude our group stages. And we'll probably have a recap again later on. But for now, we might go for an interview after this. Of course, I'm sure the home fans would want to hear from the home teams themselves, Blacklist International. Now, if you have a question for any of the players from Blacklist International, what would that be? But we'll hang that thought for a second because we'll allow our host to ask those questions. We'll be passing it over to the main stage really soon. And here we have it, Blacklist.
Right now, SM North EDSA, dalawang teams ang secured sa playoffs, and we just witnessed Blacklist International take that spot. Kasama natin ngayon si Gen.G na nalaman ko yun pala yung tamang pagkasabi na the juggler of Blacklist International. Pare, kumusta yung feeling na you are secured already in the playoffs?
And of course, masaya kasi yun talaga yung target namin na makapasok ng playoffs. Tapos, ayun, syempre mabibigyan kami ng chance na umabot, sana umabot hanggang finals.
Alright, so there you go, looking and eyeing to head over to the championship slot.
With
Chuchu.
that performance just now, especially amazing Luna, played by Gen.G. Just so you guys know, we need to clarify, is Gen.G by the man himself, okay? So we do know that you're confirmed playoff. And there's 2 teams of your Filipino brothers, including Elevate, already made it to playoff. How does it feel to have 2 Filipino teams in the playoff so far?
Ayun, masaya kasi dito sa Philippines ginaganap yung tournament. And ayun, sana maging proud sila sa amin.
It's super happy for him that it's also happening here, the Invitationals in the Philippines, and he's hoping like all of the Filipinos are going to be proud of the Filipino teams going into the playoffs. So that's about it. But before anything else, Gen.G, while we are here on stage, you do have your family members right here live on the audience who supported you. Now, we wanted to call on your grandmother to join us here on stage because she has a few words to tell you about being so supportive of your pro player career. Tita, please join us here. Tita, hi, hello Tita, please introduce yourself to the Filipino crowd.
I'm Jean Valencia, my apo, Gen.G, my idol.
Tita, anything you want to say to Gen.G and his team here as they compete for Honor of Kings Invitational Season 3?
Congratulations, and may the force be with you always. Sani Puersa!
Salud Fuerza! So there you go, thank you so much.
Pinas para sa bigas!
Pinas para sa bigas! To those international, yes, find it out. Okay, thank you so much to our Gen.G over here, and Tita, thank you so much. Super happy, and again, congratulations.
Congrats.
And Chuchu, that
I
wraps up
realize
today.
we definitely have more expectation coming up for the playoffs, but we're still not done yet because another Filipino team will fight tomorrow, which can be rough world era. So I hope all of you guys will support the last team of Filipino. Will they make it out or not? But we're gonna toss it back to the casters to wrap things up. So okay, let's go back. Okay.
Okay, that was beautiful. Bring in some family members on stage, brazen the spirits of Blacklist International. And that's what it's all about, isn't it? At the end of the day, these are players, young players, just trying to make their families proud. And that was just beautiful to bring on stage as well.
By the way, Tita means big sister. Yeah, hopefully my Tagalog is still on point there. I mean, it's just a beautiful sight to see, right? Like your family members there to support you. And it's not just there for the sake of being there, right? It's like you can feel the support, the energy from your family member, even going up on stage to give a shout out. So again, ladies and gentlemen, just to recap on the standings on the current groups, Group A is concluded. So we have Blacklist, International, and Elevate going through. Group B will be decided tomorrow. But we also have Group C and D.
Oh yes, Group C and Group D is not quite Group Death as we normally put it into when it is drawn into such a brutal team, but that is Group B. That was Group Brutal, still to be confirmed who is top and second seed, but we're still going to get to see Nova against Impunity. Impunity was able to beat KAGENDRA 3-0, but then KAGENDRA was able to take a point from Nova. So does the Titan of the KC 2024, a top 3 bleed, is Impunity's next task. But then also, more importantly, is can Rough World Era take a win from BTR to get to that second place?
All right, I like to correct myself. So Tita is auntie. So thank you to our producer, Blab. Yeah, I guess the biggest highlight game is going to be the BTR and Rough World Era match as well. Of course, they're going up against their own team. But in case, for whatever reason, you just joined us on our broadcast, this is today's results. So AG won 3-1 against Alpha 7, sending Alpha 7 back home. Nova won 3-1 against KAGENDRA and was not a easy win for Nova. It was beyond a lot of people's prediction. But this will be tomorrow's matches. AG versus Vitality Game 1, Nova versus Impunity Game 2, and we have BTR versus Rough World Era. This is going to be the big matchup tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But, I mean, the key match of today for me, I believe, is probably Nova versus KAGENDRA. That was probably one of my favorite series of the Season 3 Invitational this far. It just had everything in it. There was so much on the line, so much blowback to be happened for KAGENDRA, but then there was so much gained for the debut of Nova Esports. But KAGENDRA, when it guns blazing, fell short at the end, but, man, they gave it a heck of a shot.
Yeah, it was a great show there. I got the front row seat while you guys were doing the work, right? So I got to enjoy the match myself. And expect more interesting matches tomorrow, especially with the home grounds still looking for their ticket into the playoffs. So that will be something that we'll need to look and see what's going to happen tomorrow. But of course, besides that, we have a lot of other amazing teams. But for today, ladies and gentlemen, that will be all for us at the Caster's Desk. My name is Sir Cloud, together with a wonderful, amazing Blab all the way on the other side of the world. We'll be seeing you again tomorrow for more Honor of Kings Invitational Season 3 action. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Destroyed a tower. Blue team worth compromising with what hurts inside. When you let fear decide your fate, you don't choose which path to take in life. In life, I'm finally letting go of everything that still holds me. I'm against all odds, but I won't give up, 'cause it's my time to shine. Standing in the spotlight, and no one let me down. Destiny is calling high. I'm not afraid to fight for everything I love. Victory's on my side. The more we lose, the more we gain. The more that nothing stays the same in time.